Welcome to Size Thopter Emporium. As far as our opening hand goes, man, if we had one more blue source, I would keep on this one, but a little clunky. So let's go and mulligan on this one, and we have no lands. Okay, we do have a suspend option, but let's go and go for one more mulligan, and yeah, we'll keep on this one. So we've got Trinket Mage, Halimar Depths. I think at this point we'll just go ahead and dump Videlican Shackle. Well, actually, Shackles would be pretty good in this matchup. Let's get rid of Paradoxal Outcome and Hope of Gearpore. Yeah, that'll be good. All right, click done. We get to lead off. Let's go lead off with Halimar Depths. Put the top 3 cards of our library in any order. So let's see what's in store for us. Maybe we can find our way to a kind of there we go. We definitely want that island. So let's go Gravitational Shift, Favorable Winds, and then Island on top. And then anything else, we're gonna go pass turn to our opponent. But yes, welcome to the Scythe Thopter Emporium. Hope you're excited to walk away with a brand new Thopter that you can go fly in your backyard. So we're playing Scythe. Master Thopterist. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 Thopter creature token with flying. Then for a 2-mana activation, which hopefully I will remember for this video, sacrifice 2 artifacts, draw a card. Every side video that I've ever put out, I forget that you can go for those activations. And so I always get a comment that's like, why didn't you activate Scythe? Well, hey, so if that happens during the game today, I always forget about it. So playing gets Kwende. I think that's what we're going to go for. Let's go Kwende. Yeah, that's how it's going to be for the video. So playing against Kwende, double strike. Creatures you control with first strike have double strike. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what this build's going to be like. So we got Healer's Hawk swinging in for 1. It's going to put us down to 29, put them up to 31 with that live gain. And we did cover both commanders. Let's go ahead and go for Psy. I think I like that. Yeah, we go islands, go for Psy, Master Thopterist. They missed the land drop, so we'll want to take advantage of this. We'll have Psy enter the battlefield, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to get your very own Thopter, see all the Thopters in the Thopter lot, head over to MTGOTraders. They'll get a ton of artifacts for you to choose from. And also, shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order, help the channel at the same time. Or you can check out my merch booth by typing in JOLT539 on their actual website. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. Get your name at the beginning or the ending of the credits. And if you can't do that, hey, no problem. Just tell somebody about the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. So opponent's going to discard down to hand side. So unfortunately, they missed out on that. Let's go Island and Trinket Mage. That way we can grab Mana Crypt and go for Shackles. I think that'd be pretty good. So let's go ahead and grab our... Yes, definitely use that ability. Let's go for Mana Crypt. Get this popped down. Where are you, Mana Crypt? There we go. Let's grab Mana Crypt. Let's go and cast Mana Crypt. That's going to be an extra Thopter token. And they'll be able to go for that Videlican Shackles, which will be a really good option for us to gain control of their threat on their side of the battlefield. It's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It is one of the best feelings to get a 2-for-1 in Commander. Being able to cast your artifacts and just get a Thopter token that tags along feels pretty good. So we're going to swing in with side, knock him down to 31, get on the board for some Commander damage, and then we're going to go and pass the turn over to our commander. So I made a few updates to Psy. I kind of went in there. We didn't really have a lot of low converting mana costs artifacts, so I added pretty much all the Moxes in here. We have Mox Tantalite, Chrome Mox, Mana Crypt, Mox Amber, Mox Opal. So we have a lot of different options that allow us to get some really cheap Thopters out really quick and generate a ton of mana. Outside of that, the core concept of the deck is still the same. You know, you just want to cast as many artifacts as possible and then just generate a lot of Thopters. So opponent's going to hit that second land drop. They're going to be able to get White Knight down, first strike and protection from black. And we'll see if that Healer Hawk wants to swing in or not. And favorable winds might actually be pretty good for us. So let's go ahead and choose Tails on this one. Lost the flip. We are 0 for 1 on our Mana Crypt triggers. And we draw into Weir of Invention. Okay, so favorable winds is going to give some pretty good creatures. We can put an artifact on the battlefield. I think I kind of like going for... Yeah, let's do this. So let's go Weir of Invention. That's going to be 1, 2... Yeah, I like this. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to Weir for Mystic Forge. This is going to be a new card for the deck, and I really want to test this one out, especially in this deck. So I think that'd be a good option for us to try that. So let's go and grab that Mystic Forge. There we go. Grab Mystic Forge, and with Mystic Forge, we can actually look at the top part of our library. So let's get our library popped up, have it down there. Let's go and pay 1 life to exile the top card. We don't really necessarily need that Misty Rainforest right now. And run into another island. Okay. So anything else? No, let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. So luckily with this Mystic Forge, it's really going to allow us to kind of filter out the top part of our library. And we'll go and pass it back over to our opponent. So Mystic Forge is a new addition to the deck. And then I thought about adding some of the kind of the new Modern Horizons graveyard artifact, all the different salvagers and stuff like that. But this deck is pretty much just get side down, cast some Thopters, and kind of go from there. Now, we do have Gravitational Shift. The only downside is our opponent's got a ton of flying creatures out there, so what we're probably going to do is just hold on to Gravitational Shift and then go for Favorable Winds, because that'll at least give us a one-sided kind of board buff, which would be pretty good, because the Gravitational Shift will actually end up helping our opponent out, helping them out more than us, so... Let's go choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. Lost the flip. We were 0 for 2 of those Mana Crypt triggers, and then we draw to Island. Let's go for the Exile ability with Mystic Forge, because we just want to try to get that Thopter count up as quickly as possible. So we're going to have Island enter the battlefield, and I think we just go Favorable Winds. It's going to give our creatures a flying +2/+2, and at this point, we'll just go ahead and grab our opponent's Sky. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to grab that flying creature. Use the shackles for that. That's going to make ours a 3/4. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponents. So let's go and push in. That's going to be Side swinging across, Trinket Mage swing in, and then these double Thopters. So that'll be a pretty good little chunk of damage on our opponents. So we're going to swing in, knock them down. We're going to pass it to our opponent's turn. But yeah, this is pretty much what the side deck wants to do. Just get a lot of Thopters down. One of the other cool things is simply just getting down Steel Overseer or something like Metallic Mimic. Being able to just amplify these Thopter tokens because they come so cheap and so easily. Just getting down some sort of board buff, like Favorable Winds or something like that, really helps you build up a very sizable board straight. So, opponent's going to go for probably their commander. That's going to be, that's going to be great. So, actually, they can deal 2 damage to each attacking or blocking creature. And so, what we'll probably end up doing is gaining control of Brigade. I think that'll be a good option. So, I'm going to choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. We've got ourselves a little bit of a game. Lost a flip. I think we're 0 for 4 on those Mana Crypt triggers. That is that is pretty rough. Let's go for Vanillican Shackles on Brigade. It's going to be 1/2 off of Mana Crypt. Yeah, that'll be good because we can stop a lot of our opponent's stuff over there. We have Ponder on top of our library. Let's go for the one more activation off Mystic Forge. We're kind of getting to that spot where we want to be a little bit careful. And we can't go for Spine GS yet. So let's go for Impulse. And then Treasure Mage is going to be 6 or greater. Yeah, I think we might end up going Treasure Mage. That gives us an extra body on the battlefield. Okay, let's do that. So we're going to grab Treasure Mage and put those on any order. Let's go for Treasure Mage. It's going to be one. Paradoxical Outcome is nice if we have a lot of tokens, but we just don't have the token support right now. So we're going to go for Treasure Mage. Definitely want to use that ability. And I think, so for dealing with flying creatures, we've got that on lockdown. If we really want to just kind of wreck our opponent's game plan of getting double strike, I think we just grab Wormcoil Engine, and that'll be pretty good. So anything else, we can swing in, but let's just go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. We'll have Island on top. We can draw that next turn, and hopefully we run into another artifact. That way we can cast it off of side or really kind of give us some protection in the air. But once we do get down to Wormcoil Engine, if our opponent does end up going for Kwende, having White Knight have double strike, that'll be a good way that we can kind of just chew up some damage and really just get that Wormcoil Engine. It's just any sort of artifact deck that you're building is always so good in there. You're always happy to see it. When you get a lot of extra mana going with Mana Crypt triggers, you can get that Wormcoil Engine and end up with a, I don't know, it's just a really nice value piece. And if something happens to you, you still end up with 2 tokens. So it's just so always a nice investment. So opponent's going to go for Concerted Effort. And actually, yeah, that's going to be a pretty good option. So we really want to kind of start working on getting these Thopters. It's going to make their entire board state pretty rough. So we're going to hold on to Brigade at this point. So we're going to click OK because that's going to allow us to... at the beginning of each upkeep, they're still going to get that effort trigger. So we're going to have Mana Crypt. Let's go and choose Tails on this one. Won the flip. Finally won the trip flip on this Mana Crypt. We run into Island. I think at this point... we have another seat thing that we can go for. Yeah, let's go and go for one more Exile. Okay, Ironworks. Okay, so let's go ahead and cast Ironworks. That's going to give us an extra Thopter token. Let's make the land drop for the turn. That's going to allow us to go for Wormcoil Engine. So let's go and sacrifice the Thopter token that we just made. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have Wormcoil Engine enter the battlefield. That's still going to give us an extra Thopter token. and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. So with us having Brigade, that's really going to help us kind of stop what our opponent's got going on. And so until we can get enough Thopters where we can push past our opponent, we're just going to kind of get in this holding pattern to where it's not good for them to swing on the ground. We've got Wormcoil Engine giving us that lifelink or death touch, whatever that may be. And we also get to this point to where we can basically just kind of start generating some really good value swinging with the Wormcoil Engine. You know, if they want to end up blocking with one of these creatures, we're pretty much going to be able to trade. And that's the other good thing about Wormcoil Engines. Once you just kind of start turning it sideways, you know, just being able to get that live gain, being able to bounce back from this is a very good effect. So opponent's going to go for Thran Gateway, put a historic permanent from your hand onto the battlefield. So don't think we have to worry about that too much at this point right now. So I think we'll be okay, but we're definitely going to get a Wormcoil Engine going into the red zone. So let's see what Velikan Shackles. We're definitely going to leave that tap. So Buried Ruin, yeah, that is a nice option for us. We can return. We can actually just return Wormcoil Engine if we need to. So that'll be pretty good off that. So let's go and choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. On the flip, we are 2 for 6 on those Mana Crypt triggers, I think. And let's go for a Mystic Forge activation. It's going to put us down to 11. Tezzeret's on top, which is something very happy to see. Let's have Buried Ruin enter the battlefield. Let's go and swing in with Wormcoil Engine. It's going to be a 6/6. This point, we're just trying to get some sort of life gain. So it's going to knock them down to 19 unless they decide to block. Oh, look at that. Puts us up to 17. Let's go for the Ironworks Sacrifice on Wormcoil Engine. Let's go for Buried Ruins. We're going to be able to bring Wormcoil back to our hand. Oh, look at this value line. Then we're going to be able to cast Wormcoil. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Get an extra Thopter token on the battlefield. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. So we've got a very good little value piece going. You can see we're just being able to sacrifice it to Ironworks and pay for that Buried Ruin is a very nice effect. But yeah, as far as Sai goes, I always love playing Sai. If you ever want to build an artifact deck that's not Urza, highly recommend Sai. It's a lot of fun. You can go really budget with Sai too. You don't have to have all the moxes. If you just want to build like this weird little utility deck with Sai where you're getting stuff like Pithy Needle down, a Relic of Progenitus, those are still really good because you're going to be able to get those Thopter tokens. And so just toss in some sort of buff effect like favorable winds or Steel Overseer. Still Overseer might have gone down in price, but even something like Metallic Mimic. But yeah, if you want to build a mono blue artifact deck, go for it. It's pretty good. We're going to still hold on to this Brigade at this point. We might start to swing in because at this point we can devastate their board pretty bad. All right, so we're going to lose that. Oh, let's choose Tails on this one. Lots of flip. I think we're 2 for 7 on those, and then we draw into Tezzeret. So at this point, let's go Tezzeret. We can cast Phyrexian Metamorph. We're going to pay 1 of that life. So we're going to get an extra Thopter token. We're going to have Phyrexian Metamorph enter the battlefield as a copy of Wormcoil Engine. Oh, look at that. That is, the Sword of Feast and Famine. Okay. Now we're really starting to get somewhere. That's going to give us an extra Thopter token. And I think what we're probably going to do is put the Sword of Feast and Famine onto Wormcoil Engine because nothing has trample at this point right now. Yeah, let's go and do that. So we're going to put that onto Wormcoil Engine. Let's go and push in. And I still think at this point we're still just going to be swinging in with Wormcoil Engine until next turn. The main reason for this is they're going to be able to give all of their creatures flying and vigilance. So we need to have as many creatures as possible. I know that if we swing with the entire crew, we can go for the Brigade activation. I'm probably just being a little bit overprotective on this one, but oh, excuse me, yeah, with that protection from black, we don't get that. No, excuse me, yeah, we still get that. Never, we get that life gain. I was thinking for some reason that Wormcoil is black, but it's just the border. And then anything else, we're out on blue mana. We can go for Mystic Forge if we wanted to exile that. We'll just go and wait, and then we'll simply just going to go and pass the turn. So. But I think next turn we'll finally push in because that's going to put them down to 19. We're going to have a lot of triggers that we can go for. We have Brigade that we can go. We might have been able to go for it last turn, but there's a lot of times when you're recording and you just, like, I don't want to ruin the game by thinking that we've got a full-out combat swing, and then while I'm giving commentary that I didn't factor blank into something. So that's kind of one of those things that... if you have a full over-the-top combat win, it's just hard to kind of see it sometimes while you're delivering commentary. So opponent's going to go for Mesa and Healer's Hawk. Now that, unfortunately, that kind of cuts us out of the Brigade line of play. We might be able to... Opponent's putting in some pretty good work for only having 4 planes on the battlefield. And yeah, let's go and exile Efficient Construction. You know, at this point, if we just need bodies, I think if we actually sacrifice both Wormcoil Engines... Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to sacrifice Wormcoil Engines. It's going to give us 2 tokens, because we've got Workshop Assistant on top of our library. Give it a few extra tokens. Let's go ahead and sacrifice the original Wormcoil Engine, because we've got Workshop Assistant, which is going to allow us to kind of recast that. It's going to be a few extra bodies, and I think we can finally push in on this one. Click OK. We can still even go for the Tezzeret activation. So we're going to have Workshop Assistant on top of our library. There's going to be the Concerted Effort, Protection from Black, First Strike, and Vigilance. It's going to be 3 damage. Just going to choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. 1 the flip, and run into Workshop Assistant. So let's go for Tezzeret. That's going to allow us to go for the 0 ability, draw 2 cards. Let's go for Steel Overseer. And that's going to put us on going for Sad Robot. Yeah, let's still go ahead and force the Sword of Feast and Famine trigger onto one of our creatures. So let's go ahead and sacrifice this last Thopter token. Let's go for Sword of Feast and Famine onto one of the Death Touch creatures. We'll make the land drop for the turn. Okay, so let's go and push in. That's going to be Sai swinging in. We're going to have Trinket Mage, Treasure Mage, all of these Thopters swinging in. Going to be Wormcoil Engines. Look at this value. There we go. All right, we're going to push in our opponent. Had we gone for Gravitational Shift, that would have helped us out. But since all of the creatures have flying, it would have not been good for us. So we're going to go and swing in. We still have the Brigade activation that we can go for. Deal 2 damage to each attacking or blocking creature target player controls. So we will certainly be going for that. But with them double blocking, I think we've got a pretty good option. Okay, so there's first strike damage, and I think, let's say it's going to be 12. There we go. Put him down to -7. That's enough to close it out. Our opponent was a little bit stuck on lands, but you can see where this deck is just just being able to get a 2-for-1 off any sort of artifacts that you cast. And with Mystic Forge, super excited to get a really good showing from Mystic Forge. That allows us to kind of exile stuff off the top part of our library. Just allows you to dig deeper to find some really good stuff with Sai. So if you enjoyed your time at Sai's Thopter Emporium, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.